Sicario is a film that on the surface presents a well-known story, a story commonly told by television newscasters, the drug trafficking and drug wars going on in Mexico. However, through the technical use of color and lighting, it is able to break down the paradigms of good and evil normally presented with this kind of story, and call to question the illusions and fantasies we place on the realities of the world, and remind us that not everything is as simple as black and white. It does this by coating the film in a very neutral, beige color, messing with our senses, and confusing those doing good and bad deeds, and introducing characters who at first may seem trustworthy, but alluding to the fact that their tactics, wanted outcomes, and overall character may be very different from the goals that of a traditional, good-willed character. The theme of beige is very present throughout the film, as we are dealing with the drug cartels in Mexico and the surrounding areas of Texas and Arizona, where much if not all the land is desert. It's no surprise that beige is the prominent color of the film. However, director Denis Villeneuve chose to take this theme several steps further, wherein we have everything from the color of the hallways, meeting rooms, interrogation rooms, bathrooms, and cars, all in beige. Even the lighting sets certain outdoor scenes in beige. But it's not until the introduction of several main characters that this theme of beige can really cloud our judgment. For instance, here we have the introduction of Matt Graver, played by Josh Brolin. Matt is the head of a special government task force designated in dealing with the Mexican cartel. While Matt would seem like someone we should be able to trust, his character and general goals are never really revealed, and he tends to hide his true intentions. Matt's entire wardrobe consists of neutral, beige colors, again confusing the reception of this character. While he holds a very powerful, authoritative position on the side of the good guys of the story, his methods may not qualify him for such a title. Thus, giving him a very neutral wardrobe allows him to blend into his surroundings, hiding his true form. Alejandro is another character whose true form and intentions are well hidden through the use of color and lighting. Played by Benicio del Toro, Alejandro is a dark, conspicuous character, who again hides his goals underneath his beige uniforms. As we are introduced to him through the eyes of our main character, Kate Macer, played by Emily Blunt, we see him wearing a light tan blazer, however underneath something a little more sinister hides. It isn't until a little later in the film that Alejandro finally takes off his tan blazer, and we see his dark shirt underneath, perhaps giving away a metaphor about his character. That on the surface he will play along and blend in where necessary. However, given the situation, he may just let his true form show. Continuing with the characters of Matt and Alejandro, we can see that while in the presence of any authority, law enforcement, or government building, they wear their beige tones to hide themselves, but also they will in some ways wear shades of blue to mock or mimic that authority, to make it seem like they are willing to play along. However, when they are out of the eyes of the authorities, they will tone down said mockery. Alejandro, for instance, is always seen in black or dark colors, and is often hidden in shadow when not in the presence of law enforcement. Several other characters of moral ambiguity are also introduced in the presence of mockery blue. For instance, here we have the character Ted, introduced in blue lighting and a blue shirt, clearly signifying that he is trustworthy. However, as the story plays out, he is not so dependable. And here we have another character introduced in a white t-shirt, white representing good, and then we see him wearing a blue policeman's uniform, solidifying our trust in him. That unfortunately gets turned around. This leads us to our main character, Kate Macer. Kate is a young FBI agent whose morals and beliefs are constantly tested throughout the film. She is consistently represented by the color blue, in contrast with her supporting cast who are always in tones of beige, showing that where they are comfortable in the place of ambiguity, Kate is not. Blue, as mentioned before, represents the law and authority figures, as we see here Kate and her partner both sporting the deep blues. When Kate starts out on her journey, we see her wearing these pale blue colors, which stands out nicely against the neutrals of the world around her. However, the further she goes on this path and the more truth that comes to light, the more her morals are questioned and the blue starts to get washed away, as she now resorts to wearing grays and eventually withered white. Kate is seen as the light in the darkness that has now been swallowed by an ocean of beige and moral uncertainty. One of the most pivotal scenes of the film comes towards its end. Alejandro is finally face to face with the man he has been hunting throughout the film. He is the man responsible for killing Alejandro's family, and the man responsible for all the madness that has been happening thus far in the film. Yet he is depicted here sharing a meal with his family in a beige-lit room and wearing a white shirt. White represents innocence or good, and in contrast, Alejandro is dressed in all black, representing evil. Even though Alejandro is the character we know, and we know that he has a purpose behind his actions, we are still told to see him as the evil one, and the unarmed man he is about to kill as the innocent. Looking at the scene a little closer, we see the man's sons dressed in pale blue shirts, mocking the sense of authority even still in this setting. But this mockery puts the law enforcement down even further. By dressing the children in blue and having them as bystanders, unable to stop what is inevitably about to happen, the director is again hinting at how naive and small and childlike the authorities are in matters of this nature, and just how easily they can be picked off.
Ahora vas a conocer a Dios.
The conventions of good and evil, as told from the perspective of Sicario, are not as simple as black or white, and cannot be contained by such distinctions. In this world of moral ambiguity, they are rather countless particles, forever lost in a sea of beige.